Somebody named Atlantin 222 asked Kenya, I thought you and the land you. Can you please clarify? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna show you because again, I'm just here to talk. This all I do is talk. But this person said, I thought you and the landlord are suing each other. Can they and they are trying to evict you. Can you please clarify? And Kenya says we had a dispute over unpaid improvement allowances. I paid. See, she didn't put no period or no comma. So it could be assumed that she paid, but that's not what she said. She's saying unpaid improvement allowances I paid, period. However, we are working it out. So thank you so much. She did that on purpose so people can assume that she paid. But here's the tea. Here's the tea. Y'all remember I reported that there was eviction filed with Kenya on April, when was it? Hold on, because you know I got all the receipts, chair. The original eviction was recorded on like April 25th, 21st, April 21st. Okay. It was served on June 4th, 2025. And so she had a court date. Kenya got an attorney and she decided to file a counterclaim. And in her counterclaim, Kenya claims that the landlord owes her money for improvements that she made on the property. Kenya filed what is called a counterclaim. She filed an answer and a counterclaim. And in her answer and counterclaim, Kenya is which was filed, let me see what date this is. It's stamped June 11th. Okay, so she was served on June 5th. On June 11th, at 4:30 p.m. Okay, Kenya and her attorney Paul, Mr. Paul, whatever his last name is, filed this answer and counterclaim, and she said she denies the claim of the plaintiff. She said the landlord failed to remit tenant improvement allowance (TIA) funds as required by the contract, which resulted in tenants' funds being used to maintain, repair, rehabilitate, and improve the subject property to render the property usable and able to be occupied for its intended use under the party's lease. She also filed a counterclaim against the plaintiff, stating breach of contract, stating that the plaintiff, the landlord, is indebted to her under the lease for failure to remit tenant improvement allowance funds as required by Exhibit C to the party's lease and any other obligations of the landlord under the subject lease to reimburse, pay, or cover the cost of improvements to the premises performed by the tenant. The total amount of damages owed by plaintiff to defendant is to be determined at trial, but is believed to be not less than $89,000. Okay, this is what Kenya has said. That's what Kenya is alleging. But the landlord that clapped back, child, the landlord that filed clap back, the landlord is saying pretty much, okay, we don't care about that. Okay, we want our property. And if she wanna sue us, she need to take this up with the court at a later time. They filed a motion. Hold on. They filed a motion to compel. Okay. Basically, Kenya owes over $30,000 because now she owes December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and hell, tomorrow is day after tomorrow is August. So she owes like 8-9 months rent. Okay. So they are asking the court to compel her to put all that money and late fees and attorney's fees and anything else fees that they are saying, storage fees, into a registry with the court. So Kenya had not done that. Kenya had not paid any. She just decided she wasn't gonna pay. She just stopped paying. Allegedly, according to these documents I'm reading. Okay, and the plaintiff is saying, listen, she was required to pay this into the registry of the court, but she didn't. So now we asking her to do it if she want us to continue this dispute. All rent and utility payments coming due after the filing of the dispossessory action, which was filed April 20 whatever. Okay. And all past due rent and utility payments allegedly owed prior to the filing of the dispossessory. Okay. So they saying, listen, you owe us all this money. Okay. You need to put it in the courts and then let the courts decide. Because at the end of the day, the court is going to decide for the landlord. The court is going to give the landlord all the landlord's money. And whatever Kenya is alleging that the landlord owes for these improvements, apparently they're going to have to argue about that later. Now, in addition to this motion to compel rent into the registry, child, it's 72 pages long. The attorney, the plaintiffs also filed, hold on. They also filed a motion asking the judge to hurry up. It's normally would take 30 days. They asking the judge for a 14-day window so that they can get possession of the property. So that was filed. Y'all be acting like I don't be knowing what I'm talking about. I'm just letting y'all know. That was filed on I think that was filed right after the motion to compel the rent. And the next motion was asking the court to pretty much say, give us 14 days. She got to get out within 14 days. Now that was filed on the 28th of June. Okay. The day is the 30th. I mean, the 28th of July. The day is the 30th. So yeah, it was 7/28. Yeah, 7/28. Yeah, and so she would have 14 days from the date that was filed in order to give the landlord possession of the property. Now that's if the judge signs it. Now if the judge signs it, she got 12 more days, child. She got 12 more days. Now it's giving me Kenya is rush, hurry. Now all of a sudden she's showing all these things. She's washing hair in her salon. She's doing model searches. She's doing specials. She's doing back to school specials. She's trying to sell dresses. She's selling Mark's used shoes. She's doing YouTube. She's made it. I told y'all before it was a content creation space. And the people are like blaming me for this, like blaming me because Kenya can't pay her rent. Kenya cannot pay her rent because Kenya ain't got no job. Kenya does not work at the Real Housewives of Atlanta anymore. And it's crazy because according to Us Magazine, she blaming me for it, but she ain't mad at Us Magazine for reporting about it. Okay. Us Magazine reported about it after I reported about it. And here is what they said. Hold on. Here it is right here. So according to Us Magazine, since according to Kenya, black news media is trash, right? I'm trash. According to Kenya, black women in black media is trash, but these white people who report about it, they can report about it. There's nothing wrong with what they say. Okay, just like the Sun, the U.S. Sun reported that Kenya Moore's spa was abandoned, but she tried to drag the Jasmine brand, another black woman in media. Okay, but anyway, I'm digressing. Here is Us Magazine, Ryan Nauman, okay, said Kenya Moore's hair spa is accused of owing $44,000 in rent. That's more than I thought. I thought it was 30. He said 44. And fees. RHO alums company denies claim. Let's see what they wrote, honey. Kenya Moore has been battling the landlord for her spa over alleged unpaid rent, which she adamantly denies. According to court documents obtained by Us, Moore's company, Moore Vision Media, is accused of owing nearly $44,000 in past due rent and other charges. The claims were made by Northland Chambly, the landlord for the reality star's business. On Monday, July 28th, the landlord demanded the court intervene and help them take possession of the property. And see, that's what I'm saying. The landlord asked for 14 days. Said, listen, we've been arguing with this woman for 3 months. We understand this may be longer than that. And so since she's not paying rent, we want possession of the property and we can battle this out in court after all that. Okay. Because she hasn't paid rent in 8 months, 6, 7, 8 months. So the landlord says, we want our property back. It said it served Moore's company weeks ago, but the issue of possession of the property remains unresolved. The legal drama started back in April when the landlord sued Moore Vision Media. Moore, the CEO of Moore Vision Media, according to state records, the RHOA alum opened her hair spa in the community at an apartment building. We know that. In the initial filing, the landlord accused Moore's company of owing $21,897.40 in unpaid rent due from December 2024 to April 2024 at a rate of $4,379 per month. Okay. The complaint demanded $148 per day until Moore's company vacated the premises. Yeah. So in the counterclaim, accused the landlord of failing to pay the money for the tenant improvements, yada 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 yada. So a lot of people have been discussing this in forums and things, and a lot of attorneys have been discussing this in forums and things. And apparently, Georgia law dictates that Kenya cannot withhold rent for this. Okay, and because she did not file the lawsuit as the plaintiff first, which the building's been open for what, 2 years now. Kenya should have sued a year ago if she didn't have the money in a timely manner. Why did she wait until she couldn't afford to pay the rent to decide, oh, by the way, you owe me some money too? So yeah, they're gonna, I don't know. It seems like to me they're gonna evict her, child. And so sad. I mean, it's a recession. We don't want Kenya Moore Hair Spa evicted, but I mean, there's a lot of businesses around the Atlanta area that have been evicted lately. I mean, the Junkyard's daughter, which is a consignment store, which is what Kenya's thrift store is at this point, was just put out what, a couple of weeks ago. DL, remember that? The junk man's daughter on North Druid Hills, they had all them clothes on the corner and people was coming to get them. It was a beauty supply store that was evicted. Like at the end of the day, like these people, if you're not paying your rent, they want you out. Okay. And they just want you out. You said Bravo was paying for the building. Ooh, I don't know that Bravo was paying for, but I mean, $4,000 is not a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. But I just don't think Kenya can afford it, and that's not a bad thing. I know people are like, she's rich, da 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 da. But the same thing is happening to Candy right now with Candy's restaurants. Candy is closing restaurants left and right. She closed the OLG gang on Peter Street, and then she closed Blaze Steak and Seafood. Okay, and now the landlord of Blaze Steak and Seafood is suing them for over 100 or however $200,000 because they did some improvements, and they're saying that the landlord has to fix some stuff. So it's just like, I don't know, it's bad, real bad. So if it's somebody else's building, you can't tell them what to do. Okay, you cannot. You got to get out. If you don't want to pay no rent, you got to go. Okay, and you can't run no business if you ain't paying the rent. But why open a shop and not have any way of making money from it, child? I don't know. I don't know. Wasn't Pinky evicted, child? I don't know. Speaking of Kenya, oh, yeah. Somebody, you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up. Kenya and the eviction from what season was that? Hold on. What season was that? Kenya was talking about eviction. Here it is right here. That had came up because I was talking about eviction. Y'all remember Kenya was into it with her other landlord, but I think she won that one. But even with her winning that dispute with this other landlord when she rented her house to move to Georgia to be a housewife, y'all remember that? Kenya still had to get out the house. She still had to leave. You can't sit in nobody's house and not pay rent, ma'am. I don't know what it is about Kenya and rent. Hold on, look at this. And y'all know the drill. Copyright disclaimer in Section 107 of the Copyright Act allows is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. What are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? We are researching.
About an eviction. Is any of that true? And do you get upset?
True. And I've not been evicted. I've been a great tenant. And I have a day in court. We actually had to countersue my landlord for falsely filing for that.
Wait a minute. This sounds familiar. She is this what she do? She rent places and then she file countersuits and then like stretch it out so that she can stay a little bit longer. Is this what the people do when they be squatting in people's houses? Listen, I was a landlord. Get out. And
I have a day in court. We actually had to countersue my landlord for falsely filing for that. And I feel like I'll be vindicated next month.
She said she'll feel like they can just regurgitate this clip for now. Will she be vindicated? Everybody said she was gonna be vindicated with the revenge PRN. Was she vindicated? I don't think so. Will she be vindicated with the hair spa? I don't know. Okay. I don't think I know she got 12 more days, and in 12 more days, I might ride by there and see if the clothes is on the curb. Okay. Now, this is something else I want to tell y'all because I posted this. I posted a vlog on where did I post? Members only and stuff. And at the end of the blog, I said this, and I posted it on Instagram because I really wanted it to hit home because I know some people don't be listening. But the end of my blog said this right here. Now, please listen. Okay. Name of everything. I don't understand it. I'll never understand it. For them to say that I am trying to take a black woman down when literally her blaming me for everything is trying to take a black woman down. I am a black business. I have been in business for 20 years. In essence, look, if Kenya ever want to talk to me, if Team Twirl is in here, y'all let her know. If Kenya ever wants to talk to me, she is more than welcome to come on my show and we can have a chat. Hell, if Claudia ever wants to talk to me, if anyone ever wants to talk to me, hell, I just got through talking to Simon, and it was only because Simon wanted to talk to me. Now, people mad at me about that. Look, if Portia want to talk to me, okay? If Portia wants to talk to me, we can talk. That's a novel idea, isn't it? Anyway, I love you guys. I'll probably put this on Patreon. But I did that. I posted that on Instagram, and the caption reads, "Go ahead and blame me, the unapologetically independent black woman who's been holding it down in this social media game for nearly 2 decades. Kenya Moore has unleashed her minions and called me everything but a child of God just for telling the truth about her so-called health spa. Even Crazy Matt, y'all remember Crazy Matt once called Kenya manipulative and fundamentally deceptive. And for once, I agree, he wasn't lying. But you know what? I'll say I'm going to stay in my lane, my black-owned business, and keep reporting the facts no matter who gets mad. Now, listen. So I say all that to say, Kenya sent this person over here. This person was all in my messages, cursing me out. Hold on. Talk about something. You need to leave Kenya alone. You need to live Kenya alone, you idiot. And then she reported, leave Kenya Moore alone. I said, you need to learn how to spell, you weirdo. A fake ass page for a fake ass follower. Okay. And then, okay, I go to the page. Oh, I don't want to even put their page out here like this. Hold on. I'm going to make it big. Hold on. I go to their page. And look at this. This is who I'm arguing with, child. This is who I'm arguing with. The internet is weird. Y'all are weirdos. I'm arguing with an AI cartoon. The whole page is AI cartoons, and on the red carpet, just AI, just Sims characters. Like, who is this? Who is this? Girl, if you don't go on, get you a life. Right, 0 followers, okay, and following 2,500 people. He said, Kenya need a business plan, I guess. But also, when I was talking about like the Kenya thing, it was like people up under Kenya's hair spa post, like dragging me, calling me a moose, calling me Gary Coleman, just saying all these nasty things about me up under Kenya's thing, and acting like it's my fault that she owe money for rent. Like, when did I become Kenya's landlord? I'm just trying to figure this out. Like, if I don't report about it, somebody's gonna report about it. And clearly they're not dragging Us Magazine, right? Right? Didn't we just read Us Magazine? I don't understand. Thank you, Tyler. Tyler says she would let you into the grand she wouldn't let me into the grand reopening, and now she got the clothes. Okay, Karma. Listen, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm just here. I'm just here to report. Okay. And she would let me into the grand reopening, but somebody warned me and told me not to go. Talk about she wanted to embarrass me, and so I did not go. Okay.